speed it up.
Who tells the president to speed it up?
How are you going to make them pay for the wall?
I will, and the wall just got 10 feet taller, believe me.
Donald J. Trump is calling for a total and complete shutdown of Muslims entering the United States.
President of the United States.
USA! USA!
So help you God?
So help me God.
Congratulations, Mr. President.
He knows he's on camera at these swearing-in ceremonies, and the parents are right there as he leans in for a kiss.
37.9 million. That's the number of Americans currently living in poverty, accounting for 11.6% of the total population. That's despite the fact that America ranks first as the richest nation in the world in terms of GDP.
This is Kensington, Philadelphia, the center of America's drug epidemic, overrun with a drug known as Tranq, a mixture of horse tranquilizer and fentanyl that's turning people there into real-life zombies.
That we are the richest in the world.
And so what happens is, when the distance gets further and further away, the rungs on the ladder get further away.
The United States has been sending money to Israel for decades. In fact, Israel has been the largest cumulative recipient of U.S. foreign assistance since World War II. Just to give you the scope of how much this is annually, Israel received $3.2 billion in aid in the fiscal year 2017 alone. In 2016, the United States formally signed a foreign aid agreement with Israel. It's the largest aid package in American history. It requires the United States to send $38 billion in military aid to Israel over a 10-year period, and it prohibits any future president from withdrawing from the agreement until 2026.
I recognized Jerusalem as the capital of Israel.
You know, I used to say early on when I was a kid, I'd say, when I was a young senator, I'd say, if I were a Jew, I'd be a Zionist. I am a Zionist. You don't have to be a Jew to be a Zionist.
Now, this subject is important because the special relationship between the United States and Israel affects all of us. Israel is the largest recipient of U.S. economic and military aid, getting about $500 per year for each Israeli citizen, even though it is now a prosperous country with a per capita income that is 29th in the world. Moreover, it gets this aid even when it does things that the United States opposes and that tend to generate anti-American sentiment, like building settlements in the occupied territories. Israel gets consistent diplomatic support from the United States, and it's rarely criticized by American officials, and certainly not by anyone who's running for high office. The question's why. So what really explains Israel's privileged position? In our view, it's primarily due to the Israel lobby. The lobby is a loose coalition of groups and individuals that works openly to influence American foreign policy in a pro-Israel direction. It includes organizations like AIPAC, the Anti-Defamation League, Christian groups like Christians United for Israel.
This dogma is still powerful. I mean, the United States Christian Zionist lobby is stronger than the Jewish lobby, than the pro-Israeli lobby, I mean. Much stronger. And Israel relies now much more on the Christian Zionist lobby than it relies on AIPAC.
Final point here, the lobby is not synonymous with Jewish Americans. Many Jewish Americans don't support the lobby's positions, and groups like the so-called Christian Zionists aren't Jewish. The lobby is defined by its political agenda, not by ethnicity or religion. First, groups like AIPAC exert influence inside the Beltway by helping get allies appointed to key positions in the government, and by giving politicians clear incentives to adopt positions that they favor. For example, by steering campaign contributions towards pro-Israel candidates and away from candidates who aren't. The lobby's influence, of course, is no secret. AIPAC was ranked the second most powerful lobby in Washington in a 2003 survey of congressmen and their staffs. And Bill Clinton said it was, quote, better than anybody else lobbying in this town. Now, of course, it's not just AIPAC, but it's also a number of other groups and individuals, including, as I've mentioned, a subset of the Christian evangelical movement. But even so, various pro-Israel watchdog groups monitor media coverage, organize boycotts and demonstrations against news agencies that publish or broadcast anything critical of Israel. And there's numerous examples of this taking place.
So what is Pegasus? It's a software created by an Israeli company called NSO Group, and the company says it's designed to track terrorists.
This is everywhere. This is an industry that should not exist. We're seeing.
Finally, last but not least, efforts to stifle criticism often include smearing critics by accusing them of being anti-Semitic. Pro-Israel groups use these smear tactics for three main reasons. First, to distract people from the real issue, which is American policy. Second, to deter people from criticizing Israel or criticizing the lobby itself. No sensible person wants to be labeled an anti-Semite, so some people just keep quiet. And finally, this tactic marginalizes people in the public arena.
Am Israel Chai.
Welcome to the White House and happy Pride!
I have not made that formal decision, but it's my intention to run again. And we have time to make that decision.
Dr. Biden is for it. Mr. President. Oh.
Dr. Biden thinks that, my wife thinks that we're doing something very important.